Clara Barton, Angel of the Battlefield by Tamara Hollingsworth. We're going to the back of the book first and look at the glossary. This has some of the vocabulary words that's in the story that we might not be familiar with. Battlefields, places where wars are fought. Civil War, an American war between the northern and southern states. Disaster, a sudden event that causes great loss or damage. Earthquakes, sudden shakings of the earth that can cause great damage. Leeches, small worms that suck blood. Tornadoes, storms with strong winds that go round and round. Treaty, a written agreement and set of rules between two or more countries. Treaty of Geneva, a treaty that protected the rights of soldiers during war. Next to that is the index, and that lists the pages where you can find these different things that are listed. For instance, if we wanted to look up President Lincoln, we'd go down to find his name, and it would be on pages 12 through 13. Going to the front of the book again, we come to the table of contents. And this isn't a chapter book, it's much too short. But these are the subheadings within the book. And it tells you what pages you can find each of these subheadings on. The first subheading is Young Clara. Clara Barton was born on Christmas Day in 1821. She lived in Massachusetts. Remember that pronunciation guide there in case you don't know how to pronounce the word. She had 2 older brothers and 2 older sisters. They taught her many things. Below is a picture, and it says Clara's home. Next to this is a picture, an illustration for this book, and it's Clara's older sisters taught her how to read. Clara liked to help people. When she was 11 years old, her brother David fell off a roof. Clara became his nurse. She stayed home from school for 2 years to care for him. So looking down below, you can see an illustration for this book, and it shows David in bed, so he was really injured, and her bringing him his meals. And the caption reads, Clara taking care of David. On the other side of the screen, it says, Fun Fact. Clara put leeches on her brother. This was a common cure at the time. So this is something they did for medical reasons back in those days. And then down below, it's a picture, and it says, David grew up to be a soldier in the Civil War. At age 16, Clara became a teacher. She taught in a one-room schoolhouse. People said she had a special gift. She made her students want to learn. Now, it's important that you use your text features, and one of them is looking at the pictures, and you can see in the picture that she has students of all ages in one classroom. And the caption below says, inside a one-room schoolhouse. On the other side of the screen, it says, at the time, teachers would spank their students, but Clara never did. And to the right of that is a portrait of Clara, and below is a picture, and it says, it's the school where Clara taught. So you can tell it's a very tiny building. Nurse Clara. Clara was grown up when the Civil War started. She wanted to help. She took food and medicine to soldiers. She got friends to send more supplies. Fun fact. Now make sure you always read these. This was Clara's office during the Civil War. Notice Clara's name on the sign. And it says Missing Soldiers Office, 3rd story, room 9, Miss Clara Barton. And on the right side, it's an illustration for this book. An illustration is another word for picture. Clara helping a hurt soldier during the Civil War. Clara was brave. She went to many battlefields. Many soldiers were hurt or sick. Clara took care of them. President Lincoln heard about her work. He gave her a medal. Fun fact: Clara was called the Angel of the Battlefield. And below the picture, you can see it says Hurt Soldiers. In the illustration on the right, it shows Clara receiving a medal from President Lincoln. After the war, Clara took a trip to Europe. On her trip, she learned about the Treaty of Geneva. The treaty said how soldiers should be treated. And below, you can see a group of men meet to discuss the Treaty of Geneva. On the right-hand side, Clara was tired and sick. She went to Europe to rest. And so this is a map, and it shows her trip from the United States to Europe. Clara believed in the treaty. She wanted the United States to sign it. She worked for 10 years to make that happen. Clara knew this would help American soldiers. And below that, it's a picture of Clara, and it says a painting of Clara. On the other side, it says, fun fact: the red marks below are wax. Long ago, people put wax next to their names on important papers. They put their fingerprint in the wax. And this is the Treaty of Geneva, and the wax thumbprints or fingerprints are next to the people who signed it. Clara and the Red Cross. In Europe, Clara heard about the Red Cross. The Red Cross was a group of nurses. They helped people during wars. She wanted to bring the Red Cross to America. Below you see a picture, and it says a Red Cross ambulance in France. On the other side of the screen, it says American Red Cross, soldiers in front of the Red Cross in Great Britain. And below that, it says the Red Cross carrying hurt soldiers during World War I. Americans did not think that they needed the Red Cross. People said there would never be another war, but Clara said that the group could help with any kind of a disaster. And down below is a picture, and the caption reads, "The Red Cross teaching volunteers how to care for the hurt and sick." On the right side of the screen, it's a group of Red Cross nurses, and below that, it says Clara watching a nurse help a hurt soldier. Finally, people agreed with Clara. She started the American Red Cross in 1881. She became the group's leader. The group would help in times of war and peace. Below the picture of Clara, it reads, Clara writing at her desk. Now remember, she started the American Red Cross. The Red Cross had already began in Europe. On the other side of the page, fun fact, it says Clara was the president of the Red Cross, American Red Cross, for 22 years. And it has a poster that says, "Join American Red Cross, serves humanity." And humanity means just all humans in general. Clara led the American Red Cross. The group helped after floods and forest fires. The group also helped after tornadoes and earthquakes. They handed out food and supplies. Below that is a picture, and the caption reads, "The Red Cross packing food for people." On the right-hand side, you see a large red cross at the top of the page with a picture, and the caption reads, "The Red Cross helping people after a flood in Mississippi." So it's not just wartime, it's any kind of a disaster. Clara died in 1912, but the American Red Cross lives on. It still helps people in need. Thanks to Clara's work, Americans have helped during hard times. Fun fact, you can visit Clara's house today. Now remember, she no longer lives there. She's already died, but they have preserved her house as a monument. On the other side of the screen They have a stamp, and it says United States postage, and then it has her picture, Clara Barton, founder of the Red Cross, 3 cents. So when they publish this stamp, that's how much it costs to send a letter. And then below, there's an emblem about Clara Barton, and it says, Clara will always be remembered as the founder of the American Red Cross. Now we have the timeline, and this shows the timeline of her life. In 1821, Clara Barton was born in Massachusetts. In 1832, young Clara nurses her brother David. From 1862 to 1865, so that would include 1862, 1863, 1864, and 1865, Clara nurses Civil War soldiers. In 1869, Clara travels to Europe. In 1881, Clara starts the American Red Cross. And then in 1912, Clara dies at the age of 90. Americans today. Today, many people want to help others like Clara did. They can volunteer to join the American Red Cross. Volunteers may get to help after storms, floods, and other disasters. They may hand out medicine, food, clothing, and other supplies too.